Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Wally. And today we're getting in here for Week 16's predictions. Let's start this off. So, let's talk about Week 15 real quick. Let's talk about Week 15. And as I'm taking on my notes, Week 15, Marcus is the number one lead. He has 14 wins with 14 wins with 2 losses. Then it's Jay with 12-4, and this time around I am the last one at 11-5. But luckily enough, I still take the lead in the overall votes, which I still need to count up. But trust me when I say I'm in the lead for sure. But don't worry, I will make sure to neither show a screenshot of those and put it on the community post, or neither I'll just show you guys next week for the next after this week's done. We'll just do it like that. But yeah, I was in last place this week. But luckily enough, I was able to escape with 11-5 because as long as I stay in the positives and not the negatives, I'm still gonna have the lead overall. So ergo, there is not much Marcus can do. I'm just gonna be honest. There's not much Marcus or Jay can do as long as I still have a positive week. As long as I still have a positive week, they can't overtake. But it could be soon enough they do overtake, because if these picks don't come in the way they do, I'm going to be pissed. And luckily enough, this week is looking screwy. So we'll see what happens. But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. But as also you guys noticed in my title, you will see I have who needs to make a statement. Because it's about that time, man. It's about that time. Like I said, we're marching towards the end of the season, and definitely there's teams out here that needs to make a emphatic statement in the league. So if they want to punch their clock in. So give me a moment of your time, because I truly do believe that there's certain teams right now that do need to punch their clock. All right. So, but let's start it off. First game of the week, Thursday night football of Week 16. We got the Denver Broncos going against the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the first time these two teams met, the Broncos lost to the Chargers, but it was a close game. The Chargers won 23-16. So that is only that's only a touchdown, a mere touchdown game. That's all it is. And I believe in that game, Bo Nix actually put up a decency of some points. I think he only missed like a few catches overall, but this was more so a game of it pretty much came razor close between the ground and a little bit of the air. So a small smew of major how would I say this? It was just basically like a slight work ethic of rushing and passing yards, and more likely it did them in when Bo pretty much threw it in that one pick. But don't get me wrong too, Bo Nix and the Broncos were pretty much locked for the first 3 quarters because they couldn't even score. The first half they couldn't score at all. Second half they couldn't score in the third, and then they scored mostly all their points in the fourth, which that's bad time. That's very bad time. But that was way back when they were in the first startings of the season. Right now, Bo Nix has got more. He got more experience under his belt, and he's been throwing way more better, more cases than not. Could he flip the script right now? And that's what you want him to do. Because I do believe that Bo Nix can flip the script right now. And I ain't gonna lie, Denver does need to make a statement. Because right now, Denver is the second, right behind the Chiefs, trying to come into the wild card position, like trying to own up the wild card position. So it's like, granted, this is Bo Nix's first year, but I do believe amongst a lot of the new quarterbacks looking from last year now this year, Bo Nix is proven that he is one of these young quarterbacks that's going to have a future, because he is doing it a little bit more better than past quarterbacks from last season. And looking at this overall, I'm thinking to myself, yep, Bo Nix is definitely going to have a prove it year. But one of the reasons why I say that he has to prove it this year round, well, he has proven it in this game. Let me say that. Let me say that. He has to prove it in this is because, the Chargers, they're right behind him. They're 8-6. So if the Chargers win, they can literally tie up the record by saying 9-6, 9-6. So you definitely want that. And then Broncos right now are in a 4-win streak, even though they were a little squeamish in some of the games that they have in past games, but they're right there. So they do gotta. This is I would like to say this is a position where Broncos need to lock it in right now. Bo Nix, Broncos, Sean Payne, they need to lock it in. But let's get to it. For this game, me and Jay picked the Broncos. Marcus is going with the Chargers. All right. Up next, so we got 2 games of Saturday night football. Well, this Saturday football because they're not at night, just Saturday football. But we got the Houston Texans going against the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, there's been a lot of talks that because Patrick Mahomes had gotten once again another sprained ankle. And it's very interesting because Patrick Mahomes always gets a sprained ankle towards the end of the season, coming into the playoffs. It's very interesting. And I tend to sit here and say this, but it's one of the things that I look at and be like, this is a constant recurring issue that just keeps on appearing every single time towards the end. Why? I don't know. Now, granted, I did some reading. The X-rays have not shown positive; they're negative. So more likely, so it's not as worse as most people think it is. But if it's up there, boy, you always, and I mean always, get a sprained ankle every single time towards the end of the year, going into the playoffs. It's amazing. It's amazing. I don't know how that happens. I don't know. And then somehow, some way, magically out of nowhere, they can't stop this man when he gets one. Whatever. But the way I'm looking at this right now is Houston definitely needs this game. Now, granted, Houston are in the lead in their division. They're going to walk away with the AFC South no matter what because the AFC South is just mediocre, right? But Houston still needs this game. Now, granted, why? Because let's be real here. I mean, granted, Chiefs can lose this game. They really can. But Houston does need this because, one, they need to know if they can perform against a top team because this is one of the top teams in the AFC. And if they can't beat them now, let's be real, you ain't gonna have a chance later. You ain't gonna have a chance later. I'm just be serious. And when I say this, not just win, but win emphatically. This team needs to make a statement because Houston has not looked like anything impressive this year. They're still working out a bunch of kinks from last year. Last year they were 9-8 coming into the playoffs in the wild cards and making some big moves. But this year, you would thought they would get better just because of that entry and just because of what they look like, but not the case. Granted, record-wise, they look right there. They look the same, right? They're not exactly the same, but they look the same. They're 9-5 right now. So when you look at this right now for where they are, you think to yourself, well, they're better in a way than last year, but when you look at a lot of the games that they played, including their own division, it's been too razor close. It's just way too razor close in most cases. And then there's some games they got embarrassed like terribly. So for me, I'm looking at this game and I'm saying to myself one thing: this is a big time for them to be making a statement for themselves, and they got to make a statement right here, right now. But with that said, me and Jay are going with the Chiefs. Marcus is going with the Texans on this one. Let's move on to the next. And another team that needs to make a statement. And shout out for the NFL for fucking starting to play some of these games right. Thursday night, we got a rivalry game. Saturday, we got another good game. And now we got another rivalry game on Saturday. Ladies, gentlemen, they're getting it right. Finally. All right, let's go on. We got the Pittsburgh Steelers going against the Baltimore Ravens. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. Speaking about another team that needs to make an emphatic statement. I'm speaking about you, Steelers. Because what happened with the Eagles, that should never have happened. Y'all should never got beaten by 2 touchdowns. That shouldn't have not happened. That should not happen. But then again, I'm not surprised though, because again, it's not like you haven't been like the defense haven't been having problems with the run game anyways. It's the simple fact of, well, you couldn't stop it as it progressed, but you stopped it probably close once they get to close to the touchdown area, like the red zone. So the problem is with this is I'm not surprised. And again, Eagles showed the formula. So I'm saying again, like Baltimore, I don't expect y'all to not win this. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if my last prediction of last time that I talked about this setup and this team going against each other won't happen this time, because I won't be surprised right now. But because defense is not even just the other problem that was sort of being inconsistent in that game. Russell is another issue that I'm looking at right now. And to be honest, I'm in my head. As we all know, for those that don't know or don't remember, when Steelers got to sign and got the trade for our lovable boy, damn, I forgot his name already. Shit. Justin Fields. Okay, yeah, sorry. I lost my head real quick. But as we got to be able to sign Justin Fields, notice one thing. The deal on the table was they send him a quote-unquote an evaluated pick to get Justin Fields. This pick started at a position, I forgot what round of position pick this pick was, but at a certain point, Justin Fields was only able to play a certain amount of games. And the moment he went over, that's the moment where Steelers have to evaluate their pick, and meaning they have to constantly raise what round the pick comes from amongst giving it over to Chicago Bears. Meaning they have to, quote unquote, tank Justin Fields for not playing the game. If this is so, sad enough, this is true, right? As far as what I've read up and saw it and watched videos on. But if this is true, I think at this point, Pittsburgh, this is a break it or make it moment. Because I'm telling you right now, if y'all start with Russell and Russell is sluggish right now and he's starting to slug off, let's be real. One thing is this. People can say, oh, well, Steelers always handle the Ravens. That's nothing. Let's be real here. If y'all can't score on them, what difference does it make? And when I say score, I mean touchdown. Y'all can't even put a touchdown on them. Ravens can put a touchdown on you, but y'all walk and skate away with a field goal every single time. That's all y'all ever do. Steelers need an emphatic statement over the Ravens, and they need to put ball into end zone. They need to put the ball into the end zone, goddammit. They need to make an emphatic statement, because I'm telling you right now, Steelers and Ravens, they're right there. Ravens need one win to tie it up, and then boom, they're right there. Ravens can take it away from the Steelers right now as the number 1 team in the AFC North. This is an emphatic statement moment. And not only that, it's a rivalry game. So let's see. We got Saturday football, a rivalry game, and someone needs to make a big statement between one of these two teams as being the top AFC North goats walking in this bit. It's going to be one of these two teams. So Steelers, it's either put up or shut up. And I ain't going to lie to you. I know one thing. Let me see this game. In the first 2 halves, Russell looks like shit. Y'all better put Justin Fields in the second half. Y'all better put him in. Best believe that. Best believe. So I'm telling you right now, bro, it's going to look ugly for y'all if y'all lose this game. It's going to look ugly for y'all if y'all lose this game. Real stuff. Let's move on. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm saying let's move on. Like I told you what the picks were. So in this game, me and Jay go for the Steelers, and Marcus is going for the Ravens. All right. Next on up, we got the New York Giants versus the Atlanta Falcons. So, as we already know, the Giants, they're just tanking, and then Falcons. So, Falcons, this is interesting news. So, the starter, the rookie quarterback, Michael Penix Jr., will be starting for the Falcons. And I am going to be interested to see what this young man can do. I think, honestly, well, now I know a lot of people are thinking, is this pretty much Falcons' way of saying Kirk Cousins is done in Atlanta and they're moving off? I don't think so. I think this is like, hey, look, the year's pretty much over. Do we really keep on fighting at this point? No. And it's like, let's see what the young man can do, and let's see if he can really do something. And if so, we build for the future, be around him. But for right now, we tank the rest of the year, and then we just move on. So if anyone thinking this, I don't think so. They move off from Kirk Cousins right now, per se. I think they're just testing to see how good Michael Penix is. And if Michael Penix does make some crazy things, we might see Kirk Cousins' offseason be sent away. Like, they might just pay him off and just say bye. They just might. Or if they're able to get him traded, that too. It all depends. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But in this game, this is a clean sweep between me, Marcus, and Jay. We're all going for the Falcons. All right, next on up, we got another rivalry game within the NFC North. And we got the Detroit Lions going against the Chicago Bears. And in this game, it's a clean sweep for the Lions, man. It's a clean sweep for the Lions. Next on up, we got the Cleveland Browns going against the Cincinnati Bengals in the rivalry game of the AFC North. And in this game, honestly, the only one that needs this game more than anything else to have a fight to be even close. And I do believe this is like their last strut down the wire is literally the Bengals. It's literally the Bengals. So the Bengals need this game more than anything else. So technically the Bengals, they need it. This is actually their time to make an emphatic statement as well in this game, because they need to win the last 4 to even say they have a chance at wild cards, which means they need to win the last 4 and maybe somebody that gets they have to lose just to get in. And that's tough, because if Bengals do that and one of these teams that has to be quote unquote qualified to lose for them to get in to the wild cards, boy, Joe Burrow could be having a sling-em year this day. He's gonna have a sling-em year. Yeah, it is. So in this game, it's a clean sweep for the Bengals, baby. It's a clean sweep for the Bengals. Let's go. Next on up, we have a rivalry game in the AFC South, which doesn't really matter. It don't really matter. We got the Tennessee Titans going against the Indianapolis Colts. And in this game, we have a clean sweep for the Colts. Next on up, we got the Los Angeles Chargers going against the New York Jets. And in this game, man, we got the Rams. But I will say this. This is a clean sweep for the Rams. But I will say this just to add spice, just to add like a little bit of spice. For all you LA Rams fans, you better hope the Jets don't ruin y'all week. And personally, they better not ruin mine neither, because I need this done. They better not ruin y'all week, because I'm telling you right now, if they do, this could send them back one. And right now, don't forget, the Seahawks got to face the Packers. So if this ends up making anything, and plus I think the Cardinals got somebody as well, because all games are being played this week. So the Rams need to win this game, because if they don't, they take a pushback, and they better hope the Seahawks and the Cardinals lose, because if not, they can take forward. The NFC West is really like in a fight for position right now between three teams. And boy, everyone's trying to grapple for the top. So this division is literally on watch, is on clinical watch because it's so critical because any team can literally walk away with this. And all it takes is to one of these teams to fuck up. So LA Rams, you better hold your end of the bargain and keep the foot on the necks of the Jets and win. But you better not hope you don't lose. And personally, you better not lose. I need, like I said, I need this dub. Goddamn, I need this dub. But let's keep going. Next on up, we have another rivalry game, man, in the NFC East, where we have the Philadelphia Eagles going against the Washington Commanders in a rematch. Now, granted, Commanders, y'all had the division locked ever since towards the beginning of the season, for most of the season. But the Eagles magically sneaked up amongst everybody, including the division. Now they had nothing but a beautiful 10-win streak ever since whatever game they came back from that they lost. Like what? I think the last game that they lost was when? The last game that they lost was against the Bucks. Yeah, the Buccaneers. So ever since the devastating loss against the Buccaneers, they have been winning games, which you could say is okay or impressive depending on certain teams. I mean, honestly, they're not really that impressive to me. You won a 4-point game against the Browns. Congratulations. You beat a weak behind Giants. Congratulations. I mean, the only team I can say is impressive is the Bengals, but they don't got a defense. I'm like, congratulations. You beat the Jaguars, but the Jaguars were able to be close to you within 5-point range. Okay. You beat the Cowboys. Oh, wow. The Commanders were only 8 points behind you. You beat the Rams, which is another okay game, but that depends on what you're really looking at. But okay. I mean, like I said, the Rams are an okay team, right? And you beat them. You beat them definitively. You beat them by 17 points. Congratulations. You beat the Ravens, but that's only about a couple points. You beat the Panthers, but the Panthers had only 4 points behind you. Oh, wait, sorry. Make that 5. Wait. No. Sorry. Make that 6. I'm sorry. So that's 3 field goals. And then you beat the Steelers, which is more emphatic because of 2 touchdowns. All right. Look, Eagles, y'all okay. But do I really look at the Eagles as the team that everyone got to watch out for? No, not at all. But then again, hey, it is what it is. Eagles definitely do got to make a statement. Well, they definitely got to hold their end of the bargain and making a statement because, again, the NFC conference is pretty much really in a bind because 3 teams are looking to win that bye week. Vikings could overtake the NFC North if the Lions were to lose, which I doubt they will. The Eagles couldn't take over, or neither the Vikings. So it's a 3-way battle right now between these 3 teams because they're both 12-2, which is amazing. All 3 of these teams are both 12-2. So it only takes 1 L. Could the Commanders come in here and rectify the L that they took from you and hand you that L? They could, as long as everything goes right. Keyword, as long as everything goes right, which that's going to be tough to say. Commanders, I say it like this. Commanders, y'all been a great team. Y'all been good. Jaden Daniels, you've been a very, very watchable quarterback to love to watch and see play the game because, boy, you have been doing some great things. But ever since that rib injury, you have pretty much been on the downward hill spiral ever since. The team has not really looked the way it should. And, I wasn't handling business the way I should to a degree. Now, granted, you haven't lost like dirt shot bad, quote unquote. Y'all lost pretty much close games. And you got to think about that. They lost close games, right? They lost close games. There's some games that should have been as close, honestly, but over nothing much more. They lost close games to certain people. And then the big games is like were the big games. So nonetheless, this team is really good. And like I said before, when they faced the Eagles was only 8 points in difference. So, yeah. But with that said, in this game, I'm the only one picking the Commanders. I'm standing on business. I don't believe Eagles are a really hot shot team. I think they're just really skating by, and they're just doing what they do just to get by. But hey, it is what it is. Matchups matter. So, but with that said, Marcus and Jay are both picking the Eagles in this game. So, hey, it is what it is. I might just lose this one because I just have a certain belief that Eagles ain't what I think they are. But then again, it's like, hey, they keep on proving it, right? Hey, pick and choose. Let's move on. Next on up, we got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Carolina Panthers. And in this game, hey man, it's a clean sweep. Cardinals are going ahead. Cardinals are going straight ahead. Next on up, we got the Minnesota Vikings going against the Seattle Seahawks. Two teams that really need this dub. See, this is going to be a big game, right? This is going to be a big game because two teams need this dub. Two of these teams need it. They need this win. They need it so bad because if the Seahawks win and somehow the Rams were to lose, they take position. But if they lose, then Cardinals take position. It is a tough battle overall. It is a tough battle for the NFC West right now. It is tough. It is tough. They're just grinding it out just to see who's going to be number one and walk away. But that's a tough thing. But one thing's for sure is I was on another sports show over at the JVJ Talk Sports. Yeah, I had to think about the name. But I was over there, and the number one question was about the Vikings. Were they a legitimate team? And the answer is this. I do believe that the Vikings are a good team, and I do believe that they're still good from even last year coming on this year. I think the only difference is now is the question of, well, Kirk Cousins was last year, this year Sam Darnold. How are they going to look and improve this year? And the question is this. I do believe that the Vikings are a good team, and I do believe they can make it into the playoff and play well. The question factor is how dominant are they willing to go? They got to be dominant looking to go into these games. And I do believe that Vikings now and for the last two games on the rating of the last two remaining games of the year, they have to make an emphatic statement on the NFC North. They have to make an emphatic statement. So I do believe that Vikings are going to win this. And, well, yeah, because just for votes, me and Jay got the Vikings. Marcus picking the Seahawks. But I definitely believe that Vikings do need to make a statement in this game and the last two games moving forward. But that's my stance. Let's move on. Next on up, we got another rivalry game in the AFC East. We got the New England Patriots going against Buffalo Bills. And of course, we already know what this is going to be. We already know what this is going to be. Like, look, clean sweep across the board. This is going to the Bills. But real quick, though, as much as this year has been, sadly mediocre, what's the word I'm looking for? Not too progression, I'll say, for the Patriots. But one thing I will say, though, is this, right? Once they get a little bit more pieces on offense and defense, I do believe Drake May can be a future for the team. He just need to get a little bit more experience in and then make some more plays. And I do believe he'll be the future of the team later on. I think he's a good new addition to the new age quarterbacks coming into the league that is going to be playing well in the near future. So as long as, nothing doesn't happen to him like crazy. But he's going to have a promising one. He just needs to they just need to get some more pieces, which they will next year. So, yeah. But let's move on. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Next on, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Las Vegas Raiders. This Oh my God! When I saw this on this week, I was like, who do you really pick out of these two teams? And then I was like, okay, now that I'm gone from the post nut clarity, I can see who I'm choosing. So in this game, both me and Marcus are picking the Raiders, and Jay he just winged it and chose the Jaguars. So that's what we're going with. But honestly, this could really be a pick'ems game, and it really don't matter. It's like, damn if you do, damn if you don't. It's like whatever. Next on up, we got San Francisco 49ers going against the Miami Dolphins. Now, speaking about another set of teams that could need to make a statement. So, funny enough, Dolphins got about 3 more. Well, this one plus 2 more. And if they can win this too, they can win with 9-8. And I do believe this alone may help them be able to get into wild cards over some other teams that are trying to get in. And if they do, they can sort of, squeeze in there for one last run and get into the wild cards amongst the playoffs. Right? Whereas 49ers, on the other hand, they literally would have to win the last 3 games. I don't think so. They have enough firepower to get over the Lions. And I don't know. And I do believe they may have a decent competition against the Cardinals. But the Lions is going to be a tough one. So I don't think so. They make it out this year. And they just go to they go back to the drawing board. They go home and figure it all out. But with that said, who do we got winning this game? So it's a clean sweep for all us that's going with the Dolphins. It's a clean sweep. Next on up, we got the Sunday night football game, and we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going against the Dallas Cowboys. And in this game, it's a clean sweep for them Bucks, though. You dig? It's a clean sweep. We ain't talking about this game. Free Cooper Rush. Free Cooper Rush. Next line up, we got the Monday Night Football game. We got the Saints versus the the New Orleans Saints versus the Green Bay Packers in this game, man. It's a clean sweep for the Packs. So, ladies and gentlemen, those are all the games for you guys this week. So I do want to run back a little bit on this sheet and see which one are going to be like the top games that are going to be like you want to see this week. So I'm trying to think. So the first top game will be Vikings, Seahawks. That's going to be one of the top games of this week. Eagles, Commanders will be another one. No, I won't put that there. No. Okay, Steelers, Ravens, Texans, Chiefs, and then, of course, Broncos, Chargers. Those are like the 5 top games of the week. Them boys are going to be the hitters right there. There's other games, but because of the team that they face, I just don't doubt that that's going to be even noteworthy to mention. But there are games to be considered, like, Rams and Jets. Those are games that you want to consider to watch because of the lineup for certain teams. The Cardinals-Panthers game because of the lineup. So, that's pretty much it. Even the 49ers versus Dolphins, that's another lineup. So, yeah. But with that said, guys, thank you guys for tuning on in. Make sure you hit the like or the dislike. And, hey, man, throw a comment in the chat, man. What teams you got? What teams are you looking at for the win? Who do you guys think is going to win the Super Bowl this year?